looks like it has started the recording. Hey guys, thank you so much for joining this session. This is Swami. I'm recording. If you guys are able to see my screen. Okay, so let's come back to the GitHub link where this is my GitHub URL. Let me quickly give this link here. Just keep this handy, and that's my main GitHub link. And this is where I have all the sessions whichever I'm speaking will be here. So let me give this link. This is today's session's documentation, the demo script, and the link for the code also. So I have pasted it. So that two things are done. And the next thing is here is my meetup group. So anyone would like to join, they are more than welcome to join. This is where I publish all my events. Okay, this is where I publish all my events. Just I will give this link also real quick. And the final link is the my YouTube channel. So if you subscribe to this channel, anytime I upload a new video, you'll get notified. And here there are a couple of things. All the videos which I do from different places. One, very specifically, all these events whichever I'm conducting from Microsoft Learn community will be under videos. So if you see this, all this 18 videos are from Microsoft Learn community. You can see that Microsoft Learn community and event. And let me show you the learning room. So if you see that this is the Microsoft Learn community, MSFT community, that's the Microsoft Learn community. And this is my learning room. And these are being conducted from Microsoft Learn. Okay, so that's about some of the initial introduction. So let's start with today's session. Okay, what are we going to do today? So let's start with this. What are we going to do today is we'll be focusing on two of those modules from official syllabus. So that is on Secure AI Service and Monitor AI Service. So let me quickly come back to the official syllabus of Microsoft AI 102 exam. So if you see that in the first session, okay, when I spoke about session, I recalled. So all the AI 102 series, whichever I'm doing, will be under this playlist. You can find it inside this videos tab also, or specifically I just created the playlist. So this playlist will be available. You can directly go to the playlist where you will have this. So right now it has got only one video. So today's video I'll upload it by noon. Okay, that's about the playlist. So let's come back to the official syllabus. So here from Microsoft Learn, we are following the official syllabus. The first episode or the first session we covered prepare to develop AI solutions on Azure and create and consume AI services. We have covered these two. So today's session 2, we are going to cover Azure Monitor Azure AI services and Secure Azure AI services. These are the things which we are going to cover. Okay, so that's about this. And let me come back to the demo script and we'll follow. And I'll update it once the video is uploaded. And I've given the MS Learn modules also. And I'm a learner, so apologize if I do any mistake. And the source code for this, I've given the link. It is here. If you click on this link, it will directly take you to this tab where we'll be discussing. I think I need to update that. We will be doing in Python. Anyways, I'll update it. Thanks that I was able to validate it. So I'll take this. I'll check in. I have 2 action items. One, once the video is uploaded, I'll update this video link, also the source code link. Okay. Please fasten your seatbelt, and I have given the playlist. So anyone who's joining a little late, they can go and watch the playlist previous sessions, and they will learn about this. So first thing what I'll do is I'll show you the resources which I've created for today's session. So if you see, the resources for today's session is resources which I've created. I've created a multi-service Azure AI service and a Key Vault, log analytics workspace, and a storage account. Okay. So what we will do is we'll go back to configuring a little bit of Azure Monitor, and then we'll come back to securing things. Why? Because I wanted to do it live instead of pre-create and just go over that. So that is the reason I'm doing this way. So let's start with this. What all the key things which we are doing here is basically we can see its cost and alerting, viewing the metrics, and diagnostics logs. So from the cost perspective, we can see before even we planning to host something, we can use the pricing calculator to find out a ballpark estimate. What is that we'll be able to charge? Just give me a minute. I'll have a glass of water. Okay, thanks. So did I switch on the video? Okay, I forgot to switch on the video. Right. So from the cost perspective, we can use pricing calculator. And once the service is in production, that means we deployed it, these resources. What we can do is we can keep a watch on cost analysis tab and find out what is that it is costing. Because mine is Microsoft sponsored account, I'll not be able to go and view what is the charge. I can view it in a different way, but not in the cost analysis. It will not show that for me. So that's not a big problem for us, but you have 2 options. You can use pricing calculator and you can use the cost analysis. Now let's see from the alerts perspective. We'll see alerts and metrics and manage the diagnostics logs. First, let's set the diagnostics log, because it will take a little bit of time, max of 10-15 minutes it will take. So let's first configure this, and then we can do rest of the things. So if you see that we can enable the diagnostic logging, so we can directly store into the log analytics or to a storage account. Okay, what all the things which we can store, we will do it live. So we will see what is that we are doing it. So first thing what I will do is I will come back to this one, right mouse click on this, and go back to that particular tab where I have opened it. So we'll keep this reference here. Where did I? So now I'm coming to the monitoring section, and I just clicked on diagnostic settings. So there's nothing in here. I said add diagnostic settings, and this is AI 102 demo on 12th April 2024. That's the name I'm giving. I just want, you can see the categories, what all the things which you want to give. I said that all the types of audits, I want all logs and all metrics to be logged and sent to log analytics workspace. So this is the log analytics workspace, which we have just now, we have seen that that's the log analytics workspace. So we are sending it to that. And additionally, we can send it to a storage account. See, it rightly picked up the storage account STAI102dev002. So it picked up that. So right now all is well, and I'm clicking on save. So now what happened is any action we do it, all those alerts and metrics that will be sent to this guy. You can see here it goes to two different places. Again, they're giving more options, but at least from this perspective, of the logging. I mean, the UI has changed a little bit. If you see from what it is there, from what here on the left pane, at least definitely you will see that there is some change in this left pane. See, this audit has come here and all logs and metrics is in a separate section. That is a little different, but net the concept is same. We are routing everything to the diagnostics logs. So it has been set. So that's the first thing which we have done. So to view the logs, we can go into the log analytics workspace. So I can come in here and just click on this log analytics workspace. Can't I move this somewhere? Okay, I don't want to waste time. So if I come in here, I can see this log analytics workspace. We can come in here and search for Azure Diagnostics. This one, Azure Diagnostics. And I just want to run. Oh, I don't need this pipe for the time being. So there's nothing in here because we didn't start doing any hands-on there. So that's the first thing we have covered. So we saw in this chapter of Monitor AI service, we saw from the cost perspective, we have a couple of options at least. If you see the pricing calculator, which will give you a ballpark estimate, what is that, what kind of services you are using, how many hours you'll be using, you'll see that. And from the managed diagnostic logging perspective, we have seen we can enable the kinds of logs and push it to the log analytics as well as to the storage account. Okay, now let's come back and we can create the alerts also. So while creating these alerts, what will happen is the alert will be sent to our email. Okay, and we can view the metrics also. Metrics we can view once we do some action. That means we make some request and then see how these things are appearing. We can pin this to the dashboard, but at least we will see this for sure. Okay, so let's go to the exercise of this to create those two pieces. Let me open this instructions. We'll follow this. So we'll follow this, and someone is here. Okay, so we'll come back to the coding piece, but at least from the configuring perspective, we'll go and we'll start creating two of those alerts. One, if someone lists the keys, we'll come back and see why do we need that. And another thing is when someone modify. Okay, visualize the metrics also, we can see that one. So first let's go ahead and create. So here in this portal, what I'll do is I'll move this aside so that we'll have an extra space to go ahead and work with this alerts. So in your Azure AI services under monitoring section on the left now, you will have this alerts. So we can create an alert. So we just clicked on create an alert. Alert rule under scope, we need to ensure that what is the service. So here, if you see the scope is this AI service. Okay, so now let's come back to the condition. So see all signals. So let's click on that all signals, and you can do what is best for your team. And here I just want to see if someone is trying to list the keys. We'll come back and discuss on that one. And next thing is we need to create a action. So we have to create an action group. I don't want to use this one. Let's create a new action group. Let's create an action group, and we call it as AG. This is for listing the keys. Okay, list hyphen keys, list hyphen keys. So AZAI LST keys. Okay, that's the name again. Okay. Okay, so let's do this way. AZAI list keys. So someone is trying to view the keys. So we need to get notified. And in the notification type, I'm saying that send out an email. And the name is AZAI list keys. That's the name I'm telling. I've given that name, and I'm using my email ID. So that's an email ID, and I'm just clicking on OK. Now you can see that the email has been configured. Now click on next action. So the action type we are not using at this point of time. We'll come back. I mean, what should happen once the alert is triggered? Does it need to run an Azure automation or hit a Azure function or send some message to the event hub or ITSM or execute a logic apps? Secure webhook or webhook, what should be done? So we are not taking any of that action, but at least send out an email because we need to get notified. So I'm just clicking on create and review. Okay, so now here it shows, and in the details, let's alert rule alert AZAI list keys. So that's the name I'm taking it. I've given that name, and I'm just creating this alerts. You can see that we have an action group, and it created this alert at this point of time. You can see. So right now the alert is being created here. And we don't have any alerts at this point of time, but the alert has been created. So where do you see that? So if you come back to the resource group, you can refresh it. You see that action group is there. Right now, it didn't hit the alert, but action group is here. So you can see that action group, whatever we configured, will be here. So that's one thing from the exercise perspective. There is that here. So we have selected that, and that's an action group. We'll come back to this. We will see it in a minute, but that is all is well. Okay. So from the metrics perspective, if you come and come back here, we didn't make any calls, but we will revisit this little later. But if I want to see that what were the total number of calls, and just give me a count. So at this point of time, I don't have anything here. So I can add another metric also. I mean, any number of metrics you want, you can add, but please ensure that you're using the metrics which are either related or which can fit in or make sense. Like suppose if I add the total calls with latency. Now total calls can be like 10 calls or 15 calls or max of 100 calls. Suppose if the latency is 1000 milliseconds or 800 milliseconds. Now it looks pretty differently. Like the latency shows at the top and number of total calls are showing here at the bottom. So I mean, if you're able to understand, that is well and good, but have those two things which are making sense or pretty relative. I mean, it depends upon the use case. I'm not saying that you should never use those kind of things, but you have an option to view the metrics here. So from this chapter perspective, if you see, we spoke about monitoring cost. As I was mentioning, mine is Microsoft sponsorship account. I'll not be able to get into the cost analysis, but we went and we configured the diagnostics. We pumped in. We are pumping in the logs to the log analytics workspace, and also we are sending it to the storage account. We created an alert. We created an action group. we'll be able to view the metrics. So this perspective, all is well. So this chapter, entire chapter, I'll leave it there. And again, we'll come and revisit some of the things I just created because it will take time to pump in. So why we are creating, we'll come and learn here. I mean, it's like Memento movie. First, the ending of the scene, and again it goes in a reverse way. We are doing something pretty similar to that. OK, consider authentication. So here now our life is starting. So what we will do is we will go and this guy is troubling me to the core. Can I pin it like this? I don't know. Can't I move this? Wow. That's pain. Hold on. We'll come back here and we'll have our this thing already opened, isn't it? Let's go and spend time here. Right now we are over here. And we'll see the keys and endpoints. And here we know that there's an endpoint. And let me come back to the source code. We can try different ways. And one of the thing I'll show, we'll check with this. We'll select an interpreter. And you can see that virtual environment is already there. I've selected that virtual environment. And you can see that it is configuring the virtual environment, and we should be able to see that. Okay, we should be able to see that it configures the virtual environment. Here you see it is .venv, so it is coming from this virtual environment, our interpreter. And if you see that all these values are invalid right now because things have changed. So what I'll do is I'll just go and get this value. I selected the endpoint, so I'll change this endpoint here. OK, I changed the endpoint and I'm copying the key to. Get the key to, where is this one? App service AI key. OK, let me move this to the top so I know that what this is. So right now we have these two, and we can come back to this one and put a debugger over here and execute it, run and debug the current file, active file. So you can see, I mean, the intention is to see about the keys, nothing new. So I'll do F10 and F10. You can come and see the locals versus globals. And you can see that the AI key and endpoint are showing as a class level variables, and it starts here. And I'm saying merci, thank you in French. So now it goes and does the get language, and it bought the language as French. That is correct. And now again, it is asking us to give the input. I'm saying quit up. I'm saying quit here. It will stop execution because we did quit. So it stops the execution. Now this is, we have validated that we created a new Azure AI service account and we are able to communicate it with the given keys. I mean, with the given keys and other things. So we have copied the key to here. So the key to is here. So now what I will do is I'll go ahead and get into this account shell.azure.com. So let me come back to this one. And now let's go back to our documentation here. And see this, we tested, we saw the keys and we tested with this one with the Python code instead of Postman. Even we can do the same thing with the Postman. I just kept it. We'll do it in a different way, but I just kept it there. And let's see that how can we view this keys in how can we view these keys? Now I want to switch to PowerShell because my commands are PowerShell. I can do it here just I need to export the variables different. I mean, next time I'll do both the commands I'll give so that it will be easy for us to test it whether in Python or in PowerShell or in AZCLI. So let's come back here. I will copy the resource group name will remain same. I'll copy this and paste it. That's the resource group name. And this one I'll copy. That's an Azure service account. And what is the account name? Is this one. See that. And paste it. That's dev2. Okay. So that being done, now I'm doing a listing of this one. Okay, now I did the listing. So now we can come back and see some of the actions. It will take some time, but if it is giving we are the luckiest person, it will take some time, but we started doing some actions. That means we can come back to alerts and see did it trigger, because definitely it is time for it to trigger the alert. So we'll execute this for a couple of times. This one, this one. Okay. See, the moment it alerts, it will send an email to my email ID also. If you see that I don't have that email ID. I mean, we just created the list, but I didn't, as of 9:25, I don't have any email. There you go. We got that email while we are seeing that. Now that means what is happening is the moment someone lists the keys of the Azure AI service account, we did it thrice. So at least we got an email. That means the alert should have been created. And let's see whether it has bought into the diagnostics also. It will bring into the diagnostics also. It will take a minute or two, but we saw this one. Now we can correlate all these things. Why do we need to create an alert? Because the keys of the Azure, I mean the keys of the Azure AI services are pretty important. Now what happened is someone was able to get the keys. Now the keys has been compromised. Now what we have to do is we have to come back to this one and regenerate. So how do we regenerate? There is other way to regenerate the keys also. See, I can come back to this one and remember what is the key. It starts with EC05 and I'll go back to this one and I'm regenerating the key one. Regenerate the key one. So you can see come and EC05. So that has been regenerated. Now it is 76B and let me generate the key 2 also. Now I generated the key 2. Now these are the two, 76 and C4. Now let's go back to this one and let's see the keys. Show keys, you're seeing the previous keys. Sometimes it takes a little, I mean the refreshing it troubles us, but you see that both are updated with the latest keys what we are seeing here. Okay, 76B and C4. So now what happens is the advantage of that is now it has been compromised and we have regenerated the keys, and now rest of the world should be notified. All the people who are using the keys, now we will either we have to notify or they'll come back. So now if you see that it is holding the previous keys. I'll come back and I'll enter the word mercy and it tries to go and get this, and there is an exception. And you can see that exception, it says that 401 because the keys were compromised and we have to update the keys. Now all the team who are using these keys has to be notified, and now we can come back here and we need to update the keys. Now then we will go back and redo the same exercise. What is happening is I'm saying Mercy, and it does the analysis. It says that it is a French. Now come and learn why should we secure. I mean, this is also secure, but if at all the keys has been compromised, every team who's using these keys has to run from pillar to post to fix it. Now there is another mechanism to fix this problem, is to use the Azure keyword. Okay, now we got the motivation. Why should we use it? So I'll close that so that I have lesser number of windows to deal with. Let me come back to this one and open the key vault. And inside the key vault, I will use this AI services key. So where is this key vault? Key vault is here, and we'll come back to the access policies. We'll learn about this access policies and the purge protection and soft delete. So what happens is, first thing is, let's see this permissions perspective. So you have to give appropriate permissions because this is my account and Microsoft sponsored. I'll give full permission to myself because I don't want to fail in between the demos. So that's one thing. You need to give appropriate access policies, and the secrets will be here. So we'll create a secret. That is this one. And where did we list the keys? Here is the keys. So I copied the keys and coming back and storing that key. And I click on create. So now, if at all there is a compromise in the keys, all we have to do is the operations teams, they can generate the key and update it here. None of the application team needs to be notified because it's immaterial for them. They don't need to worry about it because operations teams is taking care of this. All the application team need to worry is they need to get access to this one. That we will see. OK, so the next thing is we have stored here. OK, now we need to create a service principal, because how does the application access this this keys? OK, that we will see. And one more thing I want to do this is create another one called delete me in that. And is there anyone? Nothing. I've given this delete me. Assume that someone has come and they deleted, whether it is knowingly or unknowingly, but that's a damage to the team. Now any application team, whoever is using that particular key, they will run from pillar to post because their application stopped working. Now, because we have enabled soft key, also we have enabled the purge protection. If you come to the overview, you see that soft delete is enabled and the purge protection is enabled. So because of that, I can come back to the manage deleted secrets. Here is the one which is there, and it clearly says that the purge protection is enabled. That means I cannot nuke this secret until the desired number of days. Maybe it is 7 days or 10 days or 90 days, whatever the desired number of days you have selected as part of your soft delete. It has to stay in this location for those many number of days. See this, it doesn't allow me to purge it. So you're safe. Now only thing is I can do is I can click on recover. I'll come back. So there will be a temporary pain point, a little bit of sleepless night will be facing, but we are totally protected from from the collateral damage, at least a little bit of damage. Someone wakes up at 2 a.m. in the morning, say that the keys are not available, and operation teams will go and check that did someone deleted it, and if it is deleted, they'll recover and all the applications will start working. Okay, so that's the motivation from the soft delete perspective. Let's come back to the this one. Let me copy this and put it here itself. Why should I go somewhere else? I'll come back to this one. Where is the command? Yeah, here. Let me configure this. The command is already there. So this is it's not demo. AZAI SVC. Let's use the demo itself. There's nothing. AZADSP create for RBAC, the name of the application, and role is owner, scope on which subscription I need that. So this is my subscription. So let me copy that subscription here and I'll paste that. And the resource group is very important. And the resource group is, we already know. So now let's come back to this one and let me paste this. So let's see this. We have the name and we have subscriptions. Why don't I give this a new name? A new name. I don't know. Demo 12th April. Given this name, demo 12th April. So what it does is it creates the service principal. So let me copy all these things and paste it here in the documentation itself so that we will revisit. So this is what I've given in the documentation. You can see that. Let's correlate. So once you execute it, it spits this JSON. I copied this JSON. I've given a dummy values, but this is what it is. So it will come. Now what is happening under the hood? We executed some command, something has created, some JSON has come. Now what is really happening under the hoods? We will see that now. So now if you go to Microsoft Entra, now we go to Microsoft Entra, and here you will see that it will create an application and it will register with that. I mean, I don't want to derail, but I just wanted to give you a little bit of under the hoods what is happening. So if you see that under the app registration, you see that whatever we have created here. So you'll get this application ID. You can see that this one, and you're seeing this is a display name and the password it doesn't show, but when you click on that, you will see the application ID. That's the one here. Object tenant, sorry, the object ID and the tenant ID. So the net, whatever we are trying to do in the next command. So the next command is that you see that you'll give the app ID and you execute it. So it will give you a ID. That ID is this object ID. If you have access to the portal, you can directly go and copy it. But let's see whether I remember things correctly or not. I'm testing myself now. It should spit this once we execute this command. So we have the app ID here. I copy this app ID and get it over here and I paste it. And I'm saying that, hey, give me this object ID of that. So let's go and come back to this. I paste this command and I click on enter. And once it displays a lot of things, one of these things is this ID. I'm sorry. OK, maybe I'm wrong in that case. OK, this is the ID. It will spit. So we need to copy this. OK, that is this. I'm wrong then. Oh, no. How come it gives the same one? Given that. Oh, this is different. OK, 8752. Yeah, This is different. This is ID. Whatever we are seeing is this one 87. So let's see what is that it is displaying over here. It starts with 6. That's the object ID. It should be this one. That's an application ID. I've given this, and that is what I've given, the application ID, and it is giving this object ID. Okay, anyways, we'll see that. That's the object ID. It will be here after the home page null. You can see after the home page null, we should be able to see that. This one, this is the ID which we need to copy. And why do we need to copy this? Because now that's a service principal, and we have to give access to the keyword to that service principal. So what happens is the Python program or C# program or any program whoever is using, they will use the service principal instead of the keyword, instead of the keys directly, because the service principal have access on the keyword. So the application whoever is trying to access this Azure AI services, they will use that service principal credentials and they'll get the keys from the keyword and send it to the AI services. So that you can see as part of the documentation here. So let's come to this piece. So we saw this regenerate keys, and here you are seeing it. The keys are being stored in the keyword. So the service principal will use the service principal, get the keys, and that keys will be sending it to the this one AI services. Okay, the mechanism, the commands are given here, but it is pointing to a different thing, but we are doing it in a different way. Okay, so we are able to do that. Now what happens is we need to give the object ID, whatever we have taken, the permission on the keyword. Okay, so this service principal has to be given permission on the keyword. So let's come back to the keyword, and we can do it in multiple ways. We can execute this command directly, whatever the command I'm showing it here. See, I'll show you this one. I'll come back to this and execute this command here. This is the one. Let me copy this, whatever we have taken, and that object ID, let's paste it here and then execute this. Now we are saying AZ keyword set policy, the keyword name. We need to have the keyword name. Let's get the keyword name from here. That's the keyword name. So we're copying the keyword name here. Now we're saying that set the policy on this keyword to this particular object, give list and get permissions. So let's go and execute this command, and then we'll come back and see under the hoods what is happening once we do this. So I clear this and paste it again and get in list. I just executed it. So it gave some permission. So once it gave some permission, let's come back to the keyword and let's go to the access policies and just let's refresh it. Now you see this. So whatever the service principal which we have created, that service principal was given access to the keyword. Here you are seeing that. Now what permissions? It is list and get. That's it. So the net whatever we did till now, since past 15 minutes, we created a service principal. We have retrieved his object ID and then given that object ID to this one. We can do that way, or another way what we can do is we can come and create an access policy here and select what are the policies you need it. And OK, permissions, let me select all. Here, if you see this, I can search the object ID, whatever it retrieved here was this one. You can use this ID or the name also. It's not going to stop you. So you can do that, or demo 12th April. OK, the name, whatever we have given. What is that? We can use the object ID or the name, any one of these things. But now you understood what is that we did it. We created the service principal. Once you create a service principal, that gets registered as an application inside the Microsoft Entra. And we execute the second command to get the ID of this particular guy, the application, and from there we will go and add it. Okay, so that's the thing. You can see the value, it is here. And that being said, I think I can close this window, but let me keep it. Let's come back to the documentation. Let's go to the next phase. Now I've shown you two ways. One is this way, and other one is you can create it directly on this one. So now what we can do is we can use the service principal to go ahead and we can use the service principal to go ahead and communicate. So what all the things which we needed. So we'll come back to the code, and because this is the latest one, we don't need to touch it. So now we need the key vault name. So now we need a key vault name. Where is the key vault name? Here itself we have the key vault name somewhere. Yeah, was a key vault name. Let me copy the key vault name. So that's the key vault name. And this is a tenant ID. Where is the tenant ID? Tenant ID is, I think, the same. Tenant ID doesn't change. Yeah, tenant ID is the same. Now I need app ID. So where is the app ID? App ID is this one, which we saw that, or we can go and get it from the Entra 2 and that one. And the password is this. I get it from here. These are the four values you need. You need a key vault, tenant ID, app ID, and password. Cool. OK, so now we can do two things. We can test the previous one, SDK. That means this guy is using the endpoint line number 1 and line number 2. It's not using anything else. So let's go and start testing this. Now say Mercy. It retrieves French. And the disadvantage of using this is, if at all the keys are compromised, then again we need to run from pillar to post. Now we will use the key vault client. This is another version. So here, what all the things which we are using the endpoint, that is line number 1, and we are using key vault ID, that is line number 3, and then tenant ID, that is line number 4, 1, 3, 4, and app ID and password. So line number 1, 3, 4, 5, and 6. We are not using line number 2. The advantage of that is we can come and correlate with this picture, whatever we have seen in the previous example here. So the storing of keys is the keys in the sense the storing of Azure AI Service keys is not our responsibility now. That goes to some other team. Even if it is our team, only few members will store it. Mostly the operations team, they will take care of. So the keys of the AI service is being stored into the key vault. Now what we are doing is we are using the service principal here, the service principal, to hit the key vault and get the keys from there. So imagine this, the key of AI service is being used by 10 different teams. And suddenly at 2 AM in the morning, the keys were compromised and operation team, they go and they update it. Will any of the team member get notified? No, we don't need to get notified, isn't it? All the things is he regenerates a new key, he updates the key vault, that's it. It's 100% of the world piece. All we do is we'll follow the same line number 17, 18, 19, and 20, and we'll get things up and running. Let's see this, how it works. Now we have a pretty good motivation why we should store things in the key. So you can see that when I do, seeing the app ID, we are seeing the password, we are seeing the tenant ID, and we are seeing the keyword name 0022. Now let's go and hit the road. And I do Mercy. And let's do Kalai Vanakam. That and do a Kalai Vanakam. And that says it's Tamil. And Suprabhat in Hindi. Okay. Hola, Spanish. And quit. Cool. We tried it. And then all is well. So now you know the motivation. Why did we store the things in the keyboard? So we saw that. And the next chapter is network security. The network security is if you come to the here under networking, you can see that right now I selected all. If I selected this one, so what will happen is I can punch the hole in the firewall. This is my routers, or what is my IP. If you check that is my IP address, you'll see the same, whatever it's showing there. What is my IP address.com? You see this 122.160, 122.162, 122.162, 26.150. You're seeing that 26.160. So that is if I punch the hole in the firewall for my laptop IP, current IP. So only that will be allowed. Or we need to again add more of the exception list, or if you have a private virtual network, we can add it so that all the resources within that virtual network will be able to access it. And exercise we did in pretty length, we did this exercise. Okay. So now comes the chance for us to go and do this, the log analytics. There you go. See that? So here it does a lot of things. It does the request response, how many times we hit it, and we can do the audit also. You can see that audit, whether someone listed the keys, whether someone regenerated the keys, or did we call the Azure AI services. Everything will get tracked, including my callers IP. We saw that 122.162.26.150. And what happened? So now everything is being tracked. You can see that all these things, whatever we are doing, is getting tracked. And now we can come back to this one, and let's go to alerts. We have seen it quite a few times. Again, you see this, the bunch of alerts, and those many number of emails. We'll see that in my email account. And let's see metrics over here, and you can see that logs also we have seen it to a length. That logs also we have seen to a decent length. And now you can come back to the metrics and you can search total calls, and let's give the count. Okay, and you can add that, and on top of that we can see something else also, cognitive services and anything related to the keys. There's nothing related to the keys, and at least I can see latency. I can see So the latency, it was little more, and now it's coming less than 20 milliseconds. So, I mean, whatever makes sense, you can add and you can get the metrics and you can pin this to the dashboard also. Okay, so that's it from my side. We can stop it here and discuss any Q&A or in the next episode, what we will be doing is we will be using full-on containers. Right now, what is happening is we are provisioning everything on the server side, isn't it? We need to go into the Azure portal and we need to provision it. So now what we will be doing in the next episode is we'll create a Docker container on our local or Azure container instance. We'll go and create there and deploy the service, whatever the kind of AI service we needed. It's not that all the time you will definitely have the container image, but for whatever the container image services you have the container image, you can very well go and use it. So that will be the next episode for us. Okay, so let me stop this recording and the recording is